Hello everyone, it's Eon here. I'm back again. I did not intend to be back for June 2024, but I realized when I was trying to add some timestamps to my video that had been posted that apparently I cut out too much. I had basically said something I didn't mean to say, and I said, you know what, rather than re-record the whole thing, we'll just edit it out in post-production, and I still don't know exactly what all I'm doing, so I kind of goofed that up. So let's just kind of go back. We're going to revisit STL miniatures and one-page rules, and I realized I completely cut out Titan Forge miniatures. So let's put them back in, please. So STL miniatures we have here, their first big release, they kind of tend to do 2 or 3 different releases or sets per month, if you would. And so first off, we see here the Elf Camp set. And the Elf Camp set is modular, different figures, different tents and figures, about 6 figures, 3 males, 3 females. And very similar, we have an Orc Camp set as well. Again, 3 males and 3 females. They also released a spider set because you can always, we'd have some giant spiders to fight against. And then this guy here in the previous video, I can't remember if it was in there or not. I think I left it in there. It was part that did not get cut out. Is this guy? And it's what's called a Bogman. And this comes from a Kickstarter they did called Frost City, and they're just kind of expanding the bestiary there for that. Again, this just shows the detail that STL Miniatures goes into. You can see the stitching on his hood, the boils, the blisters, there's another word for that, the pock marks on his skin, the nails, fingernails and toenails that we see in the detail of this character. The terrain is always extremely detailed as well. If you look at that table, you can see a pear, you can see the individual grapes, you can see the weave of the basket, you can see the threads of the rope, lots of different things that we see going on there. With the bounty board, we see the lines in the paper with the I guess this is like a pig pen or like an animal pen. You can see the individual strands of hay, the leaves of the plants and so forth. So these are the elves at their camp, and this is just showing one of their tents over here to the side. Those are the males, and these are the females that we can see over here as well. And then we start to introduce the spiders, just a little bit more detailed close-up of the spiders that we see. And as if a single spider alone is not scary enough, here's one with a couple of babies. The orcs we have going on here, and this is my one critique of STL. I will be honest, your miniatures are almost too detailed because those females have a few too many lines in their faces, in my opinion. The female orcs here are just as scary, if not scarier, than the males. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's what they want. So, as I said, I noticed that when attempting to edit my video, I apparently cut out Titan Forge miniatures, which was never my opinion. Apologies, Titan Forge, if you ever see this. I doubt you ever will, but if you ever see this, I do apologize for that. Titan Forge has released a couple of different sets of armies. These are not complete armies. These are parts of armies. They tend to do this over a couple of months. They'll release a little bit here and a little bit there. I think this is the last bit for gnomes, and they're continuing with warriors. And then they release a few for like the RPG people as well. So in June, they are continuing to go into the wilderness of chaos. And so these are basically chaotic creatures that we see. Survival, scarce resources, creatures against nature, their twisted environment that they're dealing with here as we go about here. You can see a couple of chariots, a couple of horrible mutated abominations is my word, not theirs. And here we see some sort of boar / hound hybrid creature with it's got armor on it. So in addition, they are doing some more with the Tinkering Gnomes. This will apparently be the last set of Tinkering Gnomes. I'm sure they'll revisit them in some way, form, as well. But this is what we see with the gnomes. So we can see this, the unibike. We can see, I'm assuming this is some sort of gas character. And then we have, it's very interesting to see, like electrical, cattle prods, for lack of a better term, as well as the flyers over here on the right. And that leads us to this miniature, which I put this miniature on one slide here because I really like the look of both of these guys. And I guess this is our heavy electric gun that we can see here. So just I like the character. I like the motif of these two. In the RPG corner, we have some mortal enemies, so they introduced us with a few lizard folk. And then over here on the right, we can see the 3 different characters that they have released. A rabbit folk person, as well as a couple that appear to be somewhat human. Not so sure if they both are intended to be human offhand, but they each come in 3 poses, and I didn't bother putting all 3 poses on here because that would just be extra stuff. And go check out Titan Forge if you want to see those different poses. They also release lots of miniatures, circles, ellipses, square, and rectangle as you need them for whatever. And they did do a vote. I didn't have this in the original, so we'll put this here. They like to do what they call a time shift, I believe, which is basically they release an old pack as well in addition. And this month's release is the Town of Dark, the Tavern. So always lovely to have just miniatures that you can print out and have around as well. And there's just a great piece of scattered terrain. One-page rules, most of what I recorded before was included in there, but I did want to start off by talking about one of the big things One-Page Rules has done is they are expanding beyond just their grimdark future and their fantasy playing games. They have multiple games that you can play with them as well, and this is the Age of Fantasy quest that they are really starting to push out. And so part of their release this month is these 4 characters here that are designed to be, I believe, heroes for that quest. So this is an app game. You do want to probably subscribe to OPR in order to get full access to this, to create the characters and all that, but they're really pushing that a lot. Their big fantasy release for this month is the Shadow Stalkers. Apparently it was a little bit delayed. Which I didn't really notice because I'm delayed in getting this video out. But the Shadow Stalkers, they have 5 Scourge champions, 18 Scourges, 4 Shadow Hounds, a Great Hound, a Great Screecher, 44 theme bases, and 9 gaming aids. So, what is that? 6, 24, 29 miniatures in addition to the bases and the gaming aids that we see as well. So just to kind of focus in on those a little bit. And they do always do a welcome pack as well. This includes the Human Empire on the left and the Lust Daemons on the right. So if you need 2 armies to print off and actually get out there and start playing some games, you have basically full armies that you can print as needed. So here we have, I believe that is the Great Beast that we were talking about. I'm not sure which ones these are, so I'm not going to call them out, but you can always go back and look at where that list. Here we can see these beasts. These Shadow Stalkers are very interesting creatures. They all seem to have their heads wrapped up. They have that triple cross sign that you see there. You'll notice that they even include that on the dice. And so, of course, the gaming aids, they have a ruler, they have tokens, markers, and then they have some dice if you need them. And then, of course, lots of bases, squares, rectangles, ellipses, and circles as needed. And OPR has started doing a little bit of terrain as well. Again, I think it's all intended for resin printing, not for FDM, sadly, but I imagine some of it could work off on FDM. So anyway, once again, thanks for watching. I'm sorry for doing a second video on this, but I wanted to go back and make sure I covered everything and hopefully covered a little bit better than I did the first time. And it's a short video, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon for hopefully a July preview.